And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind. So they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba's podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Oh, yeah. Big D and Bubba's podcast.
Can I show something off for a moment here? Are you done? Wow, that was actually a pretty good hold.
That one.
The podcast is sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. I got a mug, D. Look how cool.
Oh, yeah,
Cocopelli and an
nice.
Alien mashup. That's the best. Thank you, Melody. You rock.
Thanks, Melody. That's awesome.
Man. We always get the coolest things. And I got some birthday gifts. My birthday is next weekend. And,
That's right. I forget that.
Yeah, next week, Friday. So
halfway through the year.
Mary Ann sent me a bunch of cool stuff for the fire pit that I built out in the backyard. So
by the way, are you using your fire pit? I mean, even in the heat in the summer and all that?
Using the heck out of it, man.
Good.
Yep, we are. We're all in on the fire pit.
Good. Patrick, do you have a fire pit?
I do not. No,
You
I
don't have
don't.
a fire pit. Mm-hmm. Do you have a fireplace?
I have a gas fireplace, but I don't even know how to turn it on.
What?
I don't. We tried to figure out, and I was like, you know what? This feels like a thing where I blow up the house. So I'm just not gonna.
Yeah. We have a gas one too, and ours has a little flip switch because we're super fancy. But on the floor you adjust the gas to come on and all that stuff. And I'd flip it on, nothing. And you kind of smell the gas, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to light it. And they're like, oh, wait a second. There's going to be a lot of gas in the room.
Yeah.
You
know what?
It's not going to be.
I'm not going to mess with this.
You need to get a mixture
Oh, that
thing to monitor, see how much gas you got in there, because it can be too rich and it might not light, which is good.
this isn't really necessarily good for the podcast, but I keep meaning to remind you because some people told you about ozone machines.
Yeah.
Okay. An important thing to tell you about ozone machines is if you use it in your house, you can't be there. Like you can't breathe the stuff. I don't know if whoever, because I was only kind of half listening when that was going on.
Know.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing is if you have gas, you have to turn it off. You can't have the pilot light in there because it's flammable.
What about like for what's that?
I don't have a pilot light.
Not even for your water heater. You have the electric heater.
It's in the garage.
Where's the car?
I don't know, but we did ozone in our house, and we had to have someone come in and turn off all the gas, everything, the furnace,
I'm not using it in the house.
You just said. I think you were after the show. You were telling Bubba, you're like, yeah, I'll lend it to you, and then you can use it.
Yeah, see, I didn't know this stuff.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, because okay, so let's kind of give a little backstory because a lot of people, if you're listening to exclusively the podcast, you have no idea. By the way, we need one more subscriber to hit an even number, and that would really be nice. If you're watching this right now, please subscribe and hit the little bell so we can get to an even number. We're at 20,999 right now on YouTube, and I just would like to see 21. But anyway, yeah. So we were talking about the stinky stuff from Gunner's baseball equipment in the back of his car, and it's making his whole car stink up.
Yeah.
And I kind of have the same problem whenever it comes to my fire gear because as a volunteer firefighter, you have to be able to have your stuff with you at all times. Well, the bad thing is it stinks. We sweat a lot. I mean, imagine walking around 35 degrees more than normal. Imagine the weather today, 35 degrees hotter. That's how it is for firefighters just by default before you even go into anything hot. So, yeah, the gear just stinks. It's very rank and rancid and horrible smelling, even though you wash it all the time. And looking for a solution to get the smell out of the cars. And people said the ozone machine, and Big D went and bought one.
Yeah, I got the Enerzen.
Is that the brand name?
Enerzen, yeah, is the name of it. Yeah, it says ozone, when inhaled, can damage the lungs. Relatively low amounts can cause chest pain, coughing, shortness of breath, throat irritation.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick, you pretty much have all of those already, so I don't know.
Yeah, but it'll make them worse, man.
Ozone may also worsen chronic respiratory diseases such as asthma and compromise the ability of the body to fight respiratory infections. This is from the EPA. for what it's worth.
So if you're going to put it in a car, how long are you supposed to leave it?
So
in the
here's
vehicle?
it. You put it in the car for as long as you want, but they have timers. Mine has a timer on it that'll go for like an hour and a half. I think is the most. And so no, what's 180 minutes?
3 hours.
3 hours.
That seems like a long time. Yeah, I think I have a 180-minute thing on there.
So you put it on for 180 minutes.
You put it.
shut the
I
doors?
put mine on for. I put it on for 45 minutes, and I shut the door. This is in the rental car that I have because my car got hit. The rental car smelled like smoke, cigarette smoke. So yesterday I closed all the doors, put it on the center console, cranked it up for 45 minutes or so, shut all the doors, all the windows, and it goes through and is doing its thing, whatever ozone does.
Okay, I don't know.
And then, I mean, you can smell it. As soon as you turn it on, it's like powerful.
So does it ozonate stuff?
It ozonates things, Bubba. And then after 45 minutes, I opened the door, started the car, started the air conditioner, and I let it go for about 15, 20 minutes. That way it gets all, and I turned on the inside recirculate function. That way it gets all the way into the guts of the AC unit, the vents and tubes and all that kind of thing. And it made it, and then I got it out, shut the doors, and just let it sit there till this morning. I got up, come to work, and it was fine.
Smell good?
It smelled good.
I wonder how long that lasts. Like if you ozonate something, and that is a word now. I've officially adopted that as a real word. If you ozonate something and let it go, how long will it keep the smell that you're trying to get out? Or does it freshen it forever?
I'm reading about it now. I don't really know. It's an effective method to clean indoor air pollution and odors. I don't really know what
It
it
just
is.
If you're
says
doing it in your
effective.
house,
Ozone generator is a device designed to produce the gas ozone. It's used effectively in water purification, but ozone in air must reach high levels to remove air pollutants. Health experts warn that it's important to control conditions to ensure no person or pet becomes exposed, blah, blah, blah. Further, ozone is not effective for killing bacteria or mold, so it's not doing that. I'm really not sure what it does.
So
Well,
it
it-
just makes it smell fresh?
yeah, it takes the stank out of the air. Like the car, there's no smoke smell in the car anymore.
But how
It's
long
really
will that
effective
last?
with
That's what I
smoke
want to
smell.
know.
Like my buddy Neil works for, I can't remember the company, but they go in and they refurbish houses after water or smoke or fire damage.
And they use them.
And they use ozone machines to get rid of the smell when everything else is done. You know, you got to get rid of mold if there's water. You got to
Right.
get rid of the mold. That doesn't always get rid of that
The
damp
smell?
kind of smell.
That-
and
yeah.
with smoke, you know, once you've gotten rid of everything, the smoke still, it just lives in things. So my house, the reason I'm even familiar with it, we bought a house from a guy who smoked like an actual chimney. And it was insane. Like everything in the house was just covered in it. And so we replaced all the carpets. We painted every wall. We cleaned every surface. And then there's still, when it would be hot outside, you'd still go, y'all smell that?
That's his
Smell
That's his
thing."
ghost. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
you know, it might be. But we had him come and put an ozone machine in, and it was a big one, and it ran for 24 hours. We had to be out of the house.
And it got it all out.
Yeah, I mean, there's still times, sometimes, there's still times where
I need this,
I'll
man.
go, what is that? But it's only in, like, we're still finding places where nicotine is stuck to stuff. It's unbelievable.
That's so lovely.
But I mean, we cleaned everything
Yummy.
we can see, and we cleaned everything we can think of. But every now and then, you're like, "Oh, the top of the doors upstairs," and you wipe them down and go, "Oh, it's got that yellowy stuff on it."
Really?
Yeah, it was smoke. Don't
So
smoke
what
in
you're
your house.
saying is
Don't
if you're
smoke in your house.
yeah, don't smoke in your house. Number one, but number two, if you're going to buy a house, don't buy one that was previously smoked in because you have to.
But again,
Do
the
you
deal
just
I
not
got on
smell
my
it?
house, because the family of this guy knew that he smoked in it, and they thought there's nothing they could do to get rid of it. So I got
Well, we're
to
talking
buy
on the
my
air.
house again.
We're talking on the air. We talked about a guy who called and said that that's what they use when they have dead bodies. It's like he cleans up dead bodies. He called it a weird. It was like environmental service something. But
They'll take care of animals, bodies,
dead bodies. Yeah,
all kinds
but he
of
said
crazy
that's what
stuff.
they use. and it gets out that dead body smell.
Those people make money.
Remember the
people
guy
that
we
come
met in
in?
Laredo, at the breakfast?
Yes. He basically cleaned up crime scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, think of the worst, and he would go in with his hazmat suit and his massive cleaners and whatever stuff, and he would take care of it, and he made bank.
Yeah. I watched a video on a guy who does that. He's in England, and he said he got started in it because they're like, hey, somebody was a hoarder, their aunt or grandmother or something, and she died and said, hey, we're looking for someone to go in and clean her house out. And he goes, we were like 20 years old and we needed money. And so we just went in there and did it, and it was gross. And found a bunch of gross stuff, but cleaned it,
Animals,
whatever.
mice, rats.
Yeah, droppings and that kind of thing. And said that word of mouth, they just started getting more and more people wanting to do it. And then he went and there is some sort of a certification you can get. So then he got to do it for the police department. And once that happened, then it just got bigger and bigger. He added more teams. And but he was telling me about, not telling me, it was a video, and so
Stacy does it. My wife does that. She'll be watching.
He was talking to me.
She'll be watching an Instagram video. I'm like, "Who's that?" She'll go, "That's my friend." I'm like, "Your friend?"
It's my friend that talks to me when no one else will. And so he's told me that they asked him, "What's the worst one you've ever had to go into?" He said, well, the worst one, I don't even know if I should even say it on the...
There's some
Yes.
bad stuff.
I kind of want to call my buddy and ask him what's the worst mess he ever had to clean up.
He said that they got the door, they could open the front door, and there was the classic hoarder path. They have a pathway through.
Yeah.
And they're usually about shoulder height, so they can kind of...
I told you
walk
about
through
that,
there.
didn't I? Or did he tell you that?
Yeah, no, it's on
Yeah.
there too. You did too, though.
Yeah, that's with the fire department. We have the same thing. They always have a path shoulder height so they can wobble through it and press down on things. It's the craziest thing.
And so anyway, he said they got into the house and there was a crime scene, and he said all of it was bad. And
Do they have pets?
They did. The dogs were
Okay.
eating
Gotcha.
Aw.
Yeah, gotcha.
on them.
Yeah.
And then we're already this far, Bubba. Why would we skip over? Like we
Well, no,
already,
that's what I said. You
it's
were
like we're at the
describing a
edge of the
scene.
Grand Canyon. You go, okay, don't look. I mean,
You
we're
gotta
already
look. Yeah,
there.
yeah. So
we
that's
got
why I
it.
asked
So
if
he's
they
eating
had
on them.
pets.
Yeah, I got it. They're eating the
I didn't
guy
need
up.
the word-
I got yes.
I didn't need the word eating. That was implied.
Nibbled on the guy, and then they said he told me that the tub was full of
Yeah.
feces.
Aw.
They had been going to the bathroom in the tub.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they said it was just stuff everywhere.
You just burn the house down at that point? Like controlled
No, that's
burn?
called arson.
That's what
No.
they did. They tore it down. They had to tear the whole thing down.
Yeah, I'm not saying arson. I'm saying controlled burn. Like
Oh, yeah,
everyone agrees this is a good idea.
And so he was in there, and he was decomposed, and he was went through the mattress and was going into the floor and into the basement, going down the walls and stuff. All right, everyone, have a good weekend. Okay, happy Father's Day. Bye-bye.
Everybody checked out.
There is no one watching your YouTube video right now. And I don't blame them. Who can blame them? Yeah, so my point is,
It's terrible, man.
There
You
is a
break the
business
window
for
to get
that.
into the home to go and do some checks on people.
did
And
that
you know,
too.
as soon as you pop the window, as soon as you get the waft and you're like, well, we know what we got. It's the worst.
no ozone generator machine is going to fix that. Nothing. It's going to take the touch of fire.
How did this take such a
Well,
dark
we're talking
turn?
about Gunner's stinky baseball gear in his car. So he when he gets in town in a couple of days, I'm going to put it in the trunk. Just let it sit there, man. It's
with
in
his gear in
shoes.
there, right?
Should I?
Yes.
Or
Yes, do it with his gear in there too, so it can ozonate his gear.
Was gear needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, so clean the gear and then put it in there and double it. Make it doubly clean. Or you can
you know what I
ozonate
do?
it and then clean it.
I pull the gear out. He washes his gear. While the gear's washing, it's getting ozonated in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then after it gets cleaned, I put them back in there with the ozone machine, and gets a double hit. And then move it into the cabin part. That way you get all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay, I think that's
If you
kind
want
of
to
a
borrow
plan.
it, man,
I do want to borrow it. I told you, I
may
want
bring
to
it in?
as soon as you're done. Yeah, dude, we could do it while we're on the show.
Well, you can't. Like you're not
You
supposed to be
said
in
for hours.
No,
but
he
I'm
means
saying,
outside. He can put it in his
I can-
car while we're doing the show.
Yeah,
and then
Oh
plug
yeah,
it
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I called my buddy Neil. I wanted to see if he had any stories like that.
Is
He
that
probably
who this
can't
is?
Yeah.
talk. Oh, is he? Is his?
Yeah.
Hi, Neil.
I don't know if is he there.
I don't know.
Oh wait, we have to hit the button.
I'm checking. Neil. Hello. I don't know. I don't know. That
Oh,
was
that's
weird.
Okay.
So is he willing to talk to us?
No, I was just gonna put him on the show and ask him. He'll tell us something. You know.
Oh, you didn't tell him what
No,
it's for?
I didn't even tell him why. I just called him.
Probably for the better. I mean,
You know, he's a character. He would have had a story. He's a good storyteller.
Give him the our 800, and then he'll call.
Yeah, I'll tell him to call.
Yeah, let him call him back in. I like to hear some of those stories briefly.
Sure, he's got great ones.
Like I don't even like.
I don't like telling stories like that.
I don't.
I don't mean like dead vibe. I just mean, you know, cleaning up stinky
So,
whatever.
I was thinking about launching a podcast a while back with just a bunch of my firefighter friends. And I was like, this would be kind of fun. And we just go in and tell little war stories kind of thing. But I don't know if people really want to hear that because there is some crazy
'Cause
stuff.
Everyone's going to go to the darkest place.
My favorite stuff is the guys who they have to use the bathroom so bad in the middle of a fire that they use the bathroom in the home while the house is on fire. That I've never had to do that, but that to me is the most baller thing ever.
That's the most firefighter thing you can do.
It really is.
It really.
You're literally peeing on the fire.
No, they aren't peeing on the fire. They
Oh,
go
they're
to
not peeing on
they'll
the
be in the bathroom and they'll take their because you have to have you're on air, so you take your SCBA off, and then they will proceed to pull their stuff down.
No,
use
really?
the
Who does
bathroom.
that?
Is that on the hot?
Yeah, if that's him on the
They'll
hotline.
use the
if that's-
bathroom and then finish the firefight after.
Hey, Neil.
Hey, what's up?
So we're doing the podcast and we're talking about cleaning up like smell with an ozone machine and stuff. And I'm like, my buddy Neil, isn't that what you did? Like you worked for the company that goes in and cleans up houses after fire and whatnot?
Yep. That's
Do you-
what I did for 10 years.
Do you have any stories about the worst, nastiest mess you ever cleaned up that you can tell us?
I don't even know where to start, dude.
Is it pretty bad?
We had one that
Can we put a disclaimer here
Yeah, no,
for the
no.
4 people who are still listening? We don't know what we're about to hear,
Yeah, no, it's fine.
so venture forward at your own risk.
All right, go ahead.
the worst one that we ever had was 2 older ladies that from the outside of the house everything looked pristine, but from the inside of the house they were both incontinent and apparently didn't want people to know it. So they had like trash bags full of dirty Depends everywhere in their house.
Oh, wow.
And it got declared a biohazard by their insurance adjuster walked in the house and ran outside and threw up. And,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. But
Patrick's
they
the only
declared it a
one laughing. Here.
biohazard.
Like uncontrollably.
I'm
he
la-
declared
I am-
it a biohazard.
I am slightly grinning, but
The
not at the
insurance
story.
Think about that. The insurance adjuster walked in the house and then ran out.
And puked.
Puked.
Yeah.
That's bad, man.
Yeah. And so then we had to clean their house up and everything, throw everything away. Everybody had to wear, Tyvek suits. And this was for they had a busted pipe under the bathroom sink that flooded the house. But since it touched all of that, it turned into a Cat 3 water loss, and everything had to be disposed of that the water touched, cut out drywall, everything. And the best part about it was when we were putting the house back together, they called one day, and the guy I worked with, I was sitting next to him, and he's like talking to him on the phone, and they're like, hey, we know we had carpet before, but we'd really like to try to go back with ceramic tile if possible because we have allergies. And the guy I was working with literally dropped the phone when they said that.
You have allergies.
We
Yeah,
have
you left
allergies.
bags
Nah,
of
okay.
pee and doo-doo in there. And I was going to
Yeah.
say feces, but I was like, doo-doo sounds like a better word.
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
I was going to say dookie, but I couldn't think of the word. I'm like, doo-doo.
But with ozone though, when I first started working there, nobody warned me. So they sent me by to check on a job that they had an ozone machine running in, and nobody told me that you can't be in there with the ozone machine running. So I'm in there walking around, and I basically, felt like I had pneumonia for about 3 days after that.
Wow.
So be careful if
And,
you're ozonating.
Right. So if you're running an ozone machine, you got to – but I'll tell you what, we discovered when we opened our office in Lafayette, we had a rodent problem. And we discovered that anytime we saw signs of having rodents, all we had to do was run the ozone machine when we left there at night, and it would run them out of the building.
Oh, see, that's a good idea.
Oh, dude,
Okay.
that's awesome. Remember I had a snake in my attic?
Oh, dude, that'll get rid of the snake.
That'll get rid of the snake, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But the only thing is you can't be there. You can't have pets there.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
anything like that. Everything has to be out of there that you don't want to leave or don't want to die.
I have a professional
But-
question I need to ask. Big D,
Okay.
do you know the capacity, like how big of a room or space?
Mine?
Yes.
No, I don't know. It's not a huge machine. I got it for like $100. But
He's got a machine for about $100. It's an ozone machine. Would that have enough capacity to do a house?
I found it.
Yes,
It's a
Like, what's the cubic feet?
Yeah, it should have a cubic feet rating of how many cubic feet it'll do. But
yeah.
but like, the small ones like that, they're usually big enough to do a couple of rooms. So you just block off that couple of rooms and run the ozone machine. And we use them a lot for like when, we work on people's houses that had been smokers for 20 years.
Yeah.
It'll get that smoke smell out of a house. It helps with pet odor. I mean, it just eats odor.
This
basically.
says it's good for ozone for heavy duty odor elimination, coverage area of 1,300 square feet.
That'll work.
Okay.
So that's good for
I could do the attic. I could just put it in the attic. But then again,
Yeah.
it might drive the snake into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know if I want to do that now. Never mind. Yeah, I had a snake skin I found in my attic, and I'm like, no, never again will I ever go in the attic ever. And then I was like thinking, well, if it's there, it's probably eating mice. And if it's eating mice, then we might have a bigger problem than a snake. So I don't know. The ozone machine might drive them out. I'm kind of thinking we can do this.
I lived in an apartment one time and my bathroom fan quit working. I took it apart to see what was wrong with it, and there was a snake skin wrapped around the motor of the fan.
okay.
We used to have that problem in Guam. We had those brown tree snakes, and they would get up there and knock out transformers on a regular basis.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. Hey, I'm really upset with you guys that y'all didn't explore Patrick's love child that I found at the Best Buy in Baton Rouge.
Oh, I didn't even show him that.
I think I saw that.
Neil found a guy.
Neil, didn't you send that to me?
Yeah, I did.
Of course you did.
I think he said it on my messenger, Facebook Messenger or something.
Supposedly he found
Yeah.
this guy that looks like my twin
I was
brother,
able to pull
my
it up.
20-something-year-old twin brother, and I'm like, I don't see it.
He's 21 years old. He could possibly be your kid.
Put it close to the camera.
If you had a wild weekend in New Orleans, you possibly have a kid.
No,
Oh,
my
I
gosh,
kind of
that
see
is-
that, man. I do.
I mean,
I kind of see it.
I don't
Well, did
see
he
it.
have labored breathing? Were you close enough to?
Oh, this is great. Hey, thanks, Neil. I'm thinking, boy, I'm so glad you get to come on the show and not tell a story about me getting knocked out by a girl at a party. That's the last time you were on the show. But no, come on and talk about how I might have a love child at a Best Buy in Baton Rouge. That's good.
This kid walked around the corner, and I thought it was Patrick walking around the corner. He walks like him. He moves his hands like him.
Does he?
I mean, it's Patrick's kid. I'm
yeah,
sorry, but it's Patrick's kid.
I'm watching back on the video, and it really does kind of look like a relative. That is weird.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough video of him because we were almost done with the transaction.
I'm sure he thinks you're the weirdest dude that went in there that day.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
you're
like,
filming
oh, yeah.
him checking you out.
Yeah, I
at
had
Best Buy.
some pedo guy wanting to video me again.
Again.
He used the old, hey, you look like my friend
Yeah.
line again. So,
No, I showed you a picture of Patrick, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess we kind of do look related."
you really got into this. All right.
But I mean, he looks like Patrick did when I met Patrick.
Before his beard turned gray?
Yeah, before everything turns
Yeah.
gray.
Well, you were gray in high school, I thought, weren't you?
Yeah, but his
Yeah,
beard,
but when
if
I
you
had
remember.
my beard didn't used to be gray. And when I had long hair, I used to dye it black.
Oh, that's right.
And also Patrick's beard was dark up until like 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 3-4 years ago,
Yeah.
my beard was still black. This is
Yep.
new.
It's a good. It looks really good. What's that?
Now he just looks distinguished,
Distinguished.
Yeah.
That's right.
remarkably
It's
distinguished.
been at least 15 years since a woman knocked me out at a party. So.
How cold? How?
Neil
I forget the
never
whole story.
tires of telling that story.
So you're. Tell us the story. I forget it. Go
For
ahead.
those podcast listeners who've
Yeah.
never heard this
For
before.
the first time, go ahead.
So, yeah, it was like Patrick. What was it? I guess it was your going away party, wasn't it? When you were,
No, I
we
had
went
come
in
back. It's
Nashville?
like 2004, and I had come back to visit.
Okay.
It was somebody's birthday.
Yeah. So yeah, we're at the house, and wasn't it your old house?
No, it was Bryce's house.
Okay, it was Bryce's house, and yeah, there was a large Oriental lesbian girl there, and
I don't think you can say
I
that.
love all the
You can
descriptions.
say any of that. I'm not sure.
Very, very insincere.
I appreciated. I appreciated all the details.
Okay, go on.
But Patrick was talking to her. Patrick was it was probably 10 whiskey Patrick that night.
Oh yes, it
Yeah.
definitely was.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Patrick just like leaned over and licked her on the side of the face.
What?
I don't remember why.
I don't know
She
why.
said
That's a very
something.
Kiefer Sutherland move.
Yeah, she said something smart, and that was my reaction to it. I don't, and then
But
go ahead,
he
Neil.
I mean, I was across the room. I wasn't there, but I saw him lean over and lick her on the face. And I mean, like she reared back to Oklahoma and just swung with everything she had.
Oh
Hit
yeah.
Patrick, he spun all the way around.
Like on a video game.
Oh yeah, man.
Glass Joe or whatever.
He spun all the way around on his feet with his hand on his cheek, looked at me, and was like, dude, she just effing hit me. And then he just, whoa.
I stand by the fact that I was drunk, and the fact that I spun around is what made me go down. It was the drunk spin that brought me
Sure.
to the ground.
Right.
But yeah, she definitely knocked the living crap out of me.
So, what,
Yep.
do you remember coming to? Who was?
I didn't. I wasn't knocked out. I stood up and I was like, I think we should leave.
Before she took another shot.
Woo.
But it was me, and then it was Mona was there too. Me and Mona took you home after that,
Oh yeah.
or took you wherever. I wonder if Mona remembers this story.
Oh, everybody remembers.
I'm
If
sure
they were
everyone
there,
that was there remembers this story.
I'm sad I wasn't there just for that. Well, that's what you get because, I mean, licking someone's face is
Yeah, you
never
know, I
a
was
good idea.
24. What are you gonna do?
It was 20. You were 24, and times were much different back
Times
then,
are different.
Well, she reared
right.
back
She
to
reared
Oklahoma.
too. I am so glad she smacked you, and I'm just sad that it's not on video.
Oh, that's the great thing about it having happened so long ago is that people didn't have
Yeah,
cell phone
that's right.
cameras out.
Nobody had camera phones then.
There's no Ring video doorbell footage of it happening. Thank goodness.
Gosh, all the dumb stuff.
But
Yeah.
oh, Patrick, I was talking about you yesterday. Me and Julie are going to see Rodney Carrington tonight
Oh, wow, where at?
at LaBerge in Baton Rouge. And I was like, this is the first time I've been to see Rodney Carrington that Patrick didn't give me the ticket.
This is the
That's
first time
how
you've
long.
had to pay.
Yeah, that's how long Neil and I have been friends, going back to like 2000. Yeah, 20, 21
But,
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
because
funny.
we went to see him at Bear Creek.
Oh, wow, Bear Creek. All right,
Remember, we did that show,
We
and
went to see
then
him at the River Center.
yeah,
that's right.
But
I
and
remember.
he was at the hotel. He did at the Ramada Inn in the ballroom. We put that show on too.
Yeah,
I remember
he
that.
was. I remember we went golfing one time, and where Bubba was swinging, and Rodney said, "You have the most violent swing," because Bubba can knock a ball.
Oh yeah,
400 yards.
400 feet.
Feet. But Rodney carries a fake rubber snake in his bag, so when he's playing golf and someone's out hitting or whatever in the fairway, he will go back and he'll drop it back behind the cart, so that when they go put their club back, they walk up and their snake's right there at their feet. And so he goes, "Watch this." So Bubba's up there, hits a ball, goes crazy. We have no idea where it is. And Bubba walks back to the back to put his club up. There's that snake. Bubba looks down, picks it up with his hand and throws it at Rodney. Rodney goes, "Son of a..."
He was so disappointed.
I go, "Dude, that's a homo boy.
Yeah.
Dude, he's not afraid
You
of snakes."
grow up where I am afraid of snakes. I will still throw one, but yeah, I mean, you grow up in the swamp and you're going to be snake adverse. They're everywhere. Ugh.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for letting us
All right.
call you in the middle of lunch.
Absolutely.
All right, dude. Have a good weekend.
Hey, can you tell us what was that lady like again? Your description. What was she?
No, please don't.
I hate to cut this short. I have to go get my car because they're gonna. My car is done.
Yeah,
the
and
one
you're
that got hit.
returning them a rental car that's going to
And I'm
smell
gonna tell
better than
them.
when you got it.
I want to tell them. I go, "Listen, the car stunk so bad. I had to go and buy an ozone machine, and use it on there. So how about that?
That way I wouldn't smell like it permeated into my clothing.
And they're gonna go, "Okay, thanks."
Well, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, all right.
That's about right.
So
This is the last podcast until you guys get back from vacation.
So after the 4th of July.
Yeah. So
Aw.
nice talking to everybody. We'll see you.
For those of you
2
who
weeks.
are like, what can I listen to now? Start at the beginning. Listen to them back through all the way through. We have so many people that listen to the podcast from the beginning, from the first episode on. And also something we're working on is getting Patrick back into his 5 whiskey thing because, as Neil said, sometimes 10 whiskey Patrick comes out.
Oh, that's
and those
dangerous.
stories are pretty priceless. So we got to get
Apparently.
Patrick back to doing his podcast.
I'd like to hear more of that. Honestly, I would actually listen to your dumb podcast if you did that.
All right. I'll be more of it. It's coming soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for putting up with us, and we'll talk with you soon.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. That's okay, because you can listen to the regular show on the radio every day.
Rared back to Oklahoma.